Ross Ulbricht. I'm calling you today from prison, a maximum security federal penitentiary. We don't have much time together today, and I don't know if I'll get another chance to talk to you like this. I'll say as much as I can, but when it's time to go, I'll have to hang up and go back to my cell. I have lost my freedom. That's what I want to talk to you about today. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. But first, let's talk about Bitcoin. I was there during Bitcoin's early days. Back then, Bitcoin made me feel like anything was possible. Anything was possible. Bitcoin was open to everyone, right? What I love so much about it, it was like it leveled the playing field. When the idea of Bitcoin really clicked for me, I got so excited. So excited. I thought, with Bitcoin, I can try to do something that actually makes a difference. Actually makes a difference. And by the way, before I was put in prison, we didn't have all these different cryptocurrencies and tokens and everything. I miss all that. So to me, it's all one thing. So when I say Bitcoin, I'm not making those distinctions. To me, it may sound kind of corny, but to me, we're all one big family. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. So I was excited back then, but I was also very impatient. Saw what Bitcoin could do for freedom and equality, but I didn't take the time to really understand it. I didn't fully appreciate the principles it's based on. Things like immutability and consensus, and of course, decentralization. I had so many big dreams for Bitcoin, and what's so beautiful is slowly, those dreams are coming true. That's because of you. You are making those dreams a reality. You are doing what I didn't have the patience for. These last 8 years now in prison, over and over, I've been so impressed with how far we've come. But back then I was impatient. I rushed ahead with my first idea, which was Silk Road. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. Silk Road was a website I made when I was 26 years old, more than a decade ago now. It used Tor and Bitcoin to protect people's privacy. I called it an anonymous market. At the time, I thought, Bitcoin makes payments anonymous and private, then what are we waiting for? Why are we sitting around talking about it? Let's put it into action. That's impulsive. That's a 26-year-old who thinks he has to save the world before someone beats him to it. I had no idea if Silk Road would work, but now we all know it caught on. It was used to sell drugs. And now I'm in prison. I was given 2 life sentences without parole plus 40 years. I'm a non-violent first-time offender, but if nothing changes, I'll spend the next few decades in this cage. Then, sometime later this drug abuse and addiction. I'm sorry. I was trying to do something good. I was trying to help us move toward a...
This call is from a federal prison.
Sorry, this is prison. I was trying to help us move toward a freer and more equitable world. But we all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And now here I am. I'm in hell. We all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And now here I am. I'm in hell. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. Let me start by telling you about the hole. It goes by many names. The shoe, segregation, the box. But for me, it's the hole. The hole is the prison within the prison. I once spent 4 months straight in the hole. Not easy for me to talk about, but I will. The hole can make you or break you, and there was a time when it broke me. It broke me. It started with my mind racing out of control. I felt like the walls were crushing in on me, like I just had to get out of that cell. Like I just had to get out of that cell. We all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And now here I am. I'm in hell. We all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And now here I am. I'm in hell. It lasted days. Then I started beating the walls and kicking the heavy metal door. Something deep inside me cried out for freedom. I couldn't accept where I was or what had happened to me. But eventually I realized I had to get a grip. The stress was destroying me. It may sound strange, but what saved me was gratitude. But what could I be grateful for in that little cell? Well, I had to start small. I had air, right? Maybe it was stale and foul, but I had air. I had water that didn't make me sick. Food came through the slot in the door every day. I knew I wasn't forgotten. I knew someday it would be over and my family would still be there. We all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And now here I am. I'm in hell. We all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And now here I am. I'm in hell. I forgave all the people involved in putting me in prison. I had to. The anger I felt wasn't hurting them, but it was hurting me. For the sake of my sanity, I had to let it go. I had a dream while I was in the hole, and in the dream I was free. I was in a park and I felt this huge relief. I wasn't in prison anymore, and I got worried. Am I out on bail or something? Are they gonna put me back in? Are they after me right now? I started trying to get away. The anxiety, it woke me up. And there I was again, in the hole. And it was like everything that had happened to me over all these years, it all came slamming down on me at once. Life without parole, maximum security. I've been in the hole for months. I've been in the hole for months. There's no end in sight. We all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And now here I am. I'm in hell. We all know the road to hell I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. My mother, this was after I was sentenced, my mother was invited to give a speaking tour Europe. She was raising awareness about what had happened to me and was looking for help. I was talking Poland, she started to feel a bit sick and had to fly home early. So the next morning I called my sister from the prison, and the first thing she said was, "Has anyone told you about Mom yet?" I said, "What about her?" And she said to me in this voice, she said, "Oh, Ross. And I knew her mom had been feeling sick, and in that moment I just knew my sister was gonna...
This call is from a federal prison.
My sister was gonna tell me my mom was dead. But she said, "Mom's in the hospital," and I was like, "Oh, thank God, she's not dead." But then I was like, "Wait, the hospital? That's not good either." Technically, our mother had died. Her heart stopped at the breakfast table that morning. My uncle kept it going with CPR, and she was rushed to the hospital. She was unconscious in the ICU when I called. It was a long time before I was able to talk to her, and I didn't know if she would live. We didn't know if there would be brain damage. No one would say it, but I knew it was my fault. She had been redlining for 2 years since the day I was arrested. Pushing every moment of every day for my freedom. Stress-induced cardiomyopathy. I call it broken heart syndrome. I broke my mother's heart. I broke my mother's heart. I broke my mother's heart, and it nearly killed her. They call it broken heart syndrome. I broke my mother's heart. I broke my mother's heart. I broke my mother's heart, and it nearly killed her. Pain I've caused my family. I didn't think of them, not as much as I should have, when I was taking those risks, when I was risking my freedom. My mom made a full recovery, thank God. 8 years later, she still pushes for me every day. But the whole ordeal, my imprisonment, has been devastating for her. And not just her. My fiance, my father, my sister, everyone. They're all hurting. They call it broken heart syndrome. I broke my mother's heart. I broke my mother's heart. I broke my mother's heart, and it nearly killed her. They call it broken heart syndrome. I broke my mother's heart. want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. There's more to losing your freedom. It's more than being locked in a cage and the devastation that brings to your family. Locking someone in a cage until they die, it's such a horrific thing to do to a person. To lock someone in a cage until they die. The public, you have to be convinced that person is evil. That they are somehow less than human. Less than human. Less than human. You have to be convinced that person is evil. Less than human. Less than human. They do it to all of us. After I was arrested, another prisoner came up to me, a young man. He had a magazine and he said, Rob, they wrote an article about you. So I flipped to the article and I'll never forget what I saw. It was an illustration of me. What was so strange was the face had my features and proportions, but the skin had a putrid color. The eyes were bloodshot. I was hunched over like some kind of ghoul. I pushed the magazine away. I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't face what I was seeing. It felt like I could feel physical pain in my chest, like claws were tearing through me. The young man, he said, at least read what they're saying about you. And I said, why? Why listen to someone badmouth you and lie about you if you can't say anything back? He got quiet. Later that day, he told me they had done the same thing to him. Not on national news, but in his local paper. Less than human. Less than human. You have to be convinced that person is evil. Less than human. Less than human. They do it to all of us. They do it to all of us. They do it to all of us. After I said I didn't want to read it, he tore out the article and he shredded it right into the trash. Then he said, I don't want to read it either. That meant so much to me. I don't want to read it either. He gave me hope that you wouldn't look at me like I'm some sort of monster. The caricature they created was a violent drug lord. That is not who I am. That is a lie. It's a lie that was carefully crafted to justify keeping me in this cage until I die. It's a lie designed to turn you against me, to turn your heart off. Less than human. Less than human. You have to be convinced that person is evil. Less than human. Less than human. They do it to all of us. They do it to all of us. They do it to all of us. They lied. It's on the record. They cheated. That's on the record. They stole. 2 of them went to prison over the stealing. They hid evidence. That's on the record. They destroyed evidence. That's on the record. They planted evidence. That's on the record. At one point, they were looking into how they could give me the death penalty. The death penalty. The death penalty. And yes, I'm afraid. And yes, I'm afraid. The death penalty. The death penalty. They wanted to inject chemicals into my veins that would stop my heart. I had this dream where one of them was pointing a syringe at the soft spot of my neck, just under my chin. He kept getting closer and closer, and I backed away, but my back was against the wall. Every muscle in my body was tensed as I strained to get away. I was actually climbing the wall, and the tip of the syringe came right next to my skin. I woke up in that exact same position. I was hyperventilating, my heart was pounding. I could still feel the needle coming toward me. Are you starting to understand what it means to lose your freedom? Are you starting to understand what it means to lose your freedom? It means living in constant fear. Why has it taken me all these years to finally talk to you? I've been afraid. Even now, I was strongly warned against talking to you. You'll only anger the authorities even more. You'll ruin what little chance you have left in the courts. Well, it's not my intention to anger anyone, and yes, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of retaliation. I'm afraid that because of what I'm saying to you today, I'll be thrown in the hole. Or worse. Today, right now, I have a message for those that have been lying about me, and those that have been thoughtlessly repeating those lies. Please stop. You are hurting me. Please stop. You know what you're saying isn't true. You are hurting me, and you're hurting my family. Please stop. 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 The death penalty. The death penalty. And yes, I'm afraid. And yes, I'm afraid. The death penalty. The death penalty. And yes, I'm afraid. And yes, I'm afraid. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. The irony is that I made Silk Road in the first place because I thought I was furthering the things I cared about. Freedom, privacy, equality. But by making Silk Road, I wound up in a place where those things don't exist. I'm not alone. These prisons are full of people who don't deserve this. We are mothers and fathers. We are sisters and brothers. But we've been very same darknet. This is a cry for help. My mother can't do this by herself. And I'm crying out not just for me, but for all of us. We need your help. We need your help. We need you to care. We need you to look at the stark contrast between the freedom of Bitcoin on the one hand and what it means to be locked in a cage until you die. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. We need your help. We need your help. We have a choice today, right now. Do we ignore what's happening? The loss of freedom? The dehumanization? Or do we wake up? Wake up. Wake up. Listen. Bitcoin is strong. Bitcoin is powerful. We are powerful. And our work is not over. It's time to wake up. It's time to take the next step. I've spent the last 8 years watching Bitcoin grow up. I've seen incredible innovation, inspiring courage. We didn't know how things would turn out for Bitcoin back in the beginning, but over the years I've been continually impressed what you've accomplished. I am proud of you, and I have no doubt we can do anything we set our minds to.